Hi, my name is John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. Tonight's nightcap, for a change, I've got some traction engine parts to modify. That are actually crankshaft oilers of a Fowler Sherman's engine, so I show quite a bit of that. I don't think there's any welding this weekend, but there's some more spring making. And actually, well, I'll let you watch the video, see what you think. I mentioned a few weeks ago as a new channel I've started to watch. Well, it's not a new channel, but it's new to me. The channel's called Vintage Iron, vintageiron.com. Go and have a look, give that a bit of support. He does what I do, but he does it on a much bigger scale. Anyway, let's get on with the video. These are crankshaft oilers of a Fowler traction engine. It's really simple the way they work. There's no moving parts in them. There's a spring-loaded valve in the top. You push that down and put the oil in, and that stops the oil from splashing out when it's running. Same with that one. We take it apart. Inside we've got a little valve, which is looking sorry for itself. I'll make a new one of them, I think. That's what seals into there. Then we'll have a tube in there, and what happens is this is full with oil, and you have a piece of wick which goes down into the oil, goes down that tube, and by capillary reaction it pulls the oil down into the bearing. Only trouble is you can't turn it off, it runs oil all the time. There's a modification out the lads wants us to do. It's a little T-type valve, it goes in there. I've got a picture of it, I'll show that. And the idea is when the engine's running, that's shaking about, and that little valve shakes and it allows a little bit of oil to come up a flat that's filed on the side, and that lubricates the bearing. Not my idea, but seemingly it does work, so I'm going to make a couple of them. That's the oiler there, and that's the little valve that goes into it. So we're going to make two of those. I'll probably use a bit of stainless steel, and I'm going to make a new little valve for the oil filler. We'll look inside this one. That's what it should look like. There's a lot less spring tension on this one. So we need to get an average size of that hole to make these little valves with. From the picture I can look at the size of the lad's fingers and sort of estimate how long it's going to be. That's a 9.1mm drill, and that's the sort of fit that we need. So you can see the little T-valve will jump around in there. The oil will be able to go down that hole and lubricate the bearing, and it'll only work when the engine's running. It won't work when it's stationary. I've got a bit of stainless in here. I don't know what grade of stainless it is. It's a sort of stainless I get out of a skip. Now I've got a tool here, a high-speed steel tool. I've got a lot of tools given, and somebody spent a lot of time grinding that one. They've got a chip breaker on it. I'm going to try it just to see what it's like. You don't always need to use carbide tooling. That's lovely, that. It's not breaking the chip very well on stainless, but it's cutting the time. Quite happy with that. I've had a bit measured of the drawer, and I've scaled things up, and we need that to be 30mm. A deeper cut might cause them chips to break better. I'll change the angle of the tack a little bit. Certainly cutting well. Nothing the matter with that, other than the chips not breaking. We want that to be 9mm, so if I simply set the caliper at 9mm, and 0, it means now when we measure it, it gives a direct reading of how much has got to come out of it, off it, which is 3.2. So we'll take a 1.5mm cut to start with. just about there. 0.2 to come off. I'll try it in the port. Yeah, it's too tight. I want to like a bit of a sort of a piss wobbly slack for it really, but not too piss wobbly. Right, that's piss wobbly enough. I'll put an 80 degree tool in just to take that edge off. Then I don't want it flat filing on it, and a little bit of a chamfer on the end. Tip on that. That tip's chipped, unfortunately. I could set the compound side up to do this, but honestly it does you good to use a file now and then, I think. I want a flat file on it. Once again, I could go at the milling machine with a collared block. Right, part it off to length, and we're nearly there. There's less chance of chipping a high-speed steel tool than there is a tip tool. A lot more user-friendly they are. I like this tool, it's got a few uses. Always make sure you've got plenty of clearance before you power things up. So you can break that edge, scrape that edge, make sure that drops into there quite nicely. I did say I was going to make a new one of them, but that's been cast out of lead. I mean, I've got no idea who made that. It'll not be here now, and that is like a bit of history, so I'm going to leave it well alone. I don't like changing things for the sake of changing them. That's history, that's so you leave things like that well alone, at least I do. Right, very simple to assemble. That simply goes in there. And this is full of oil, there's oil splashing around, and when the engine's moving, that little pin there will be jumping up and down like that, and it'll be allowing oil to go down there. That goes like that. The little valve, I mean, look at the wear on that, that's absolutely incredible. I mean, the chisel marks on there, you know, where some rough bastard's been on, but it's part of the engine, that's what it's meant to look like. It's not a brand new engine. That goes in there like that. Then you spout your oil can, goes in there, pushes that down. That's how you put your oil in. Really simple. You can see the end of the little valve thing down there. You can hear it jumping about.